Okay, Miss Quaisha, I see it's just you on here for now. We're starting at 9 o'clock. I have you on mute. I just want to make sure that you're able to hear me. Microphone check. Let's see. I'm going to unmute you. You were able to hear me okay?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay, is it muffled?
No, it's not muffled. It's perfect.
Perfect. Okay, so that's all I needed, Pumpkin. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right. All right, all right, all right. Woo, woo, woo. Hey. We're going to be starting in just a second. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, all right. Let's see, let's see. We're going to give everybody about 4 more minutes to get going. I'm going to just keep working until then. Hey guys, we got about 2 more minutes. So we are ready. And I'm gonna go over here to the chat room and just say hello to everybody. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, guys, so we're doing something a little different tonight. We're going to start at exactly 9 o'clock, but we have people who are on both the webinar and on the telephone, because the last time we had tons of people who said, hey, I don't know how to do this webinar thing. I'm not feeling that. I need you to be on the phone. Accustomed to me being on publishing to authors and aspiring publishers. And so because they're used to seeing me on the phone, this whole webinar thing threw everybody off. So I'm just like, let me just do the phone situation to make sure people are able to get on the phone with me and to make sure that people are also able to see me on webinar. And if you're new to this webinar thing, don't even worry, because guess what? I'm new to it too, okay? Like literally, I'm new to it too. So don't worry, all right? So we're gonna get started in a second. It's exactly 9. I see people are still logging into the phone line. So everybody who's on the phone, welcome, welcome. Hoping that you can hear me just fine. I see more people are still logging on to the webinar. Fantastic. So here's the deal. Before we even get started, I wanna make sure you fully understand what's going on here. Last week, I did a webinar on turning your gifts and talents into income. There were about 330 people who signed up, but only maybe 100 people were able to access us. So I had to do this again. So if you were on here last week, you're probably going to hear the same information, maybe a little bit more, because over the last week, I did a couple of periscopes on different types of businesses and how you can get started. And the best one was how to find funding. And so people are like, can you talk about that again tonight while you're on this call? So I'm definitely willing to do that. But if you were on last week, please don't get bored, because you're going to have to hear some of this again, okay? Also, I'm doing one other thing that's a little bit different from last time. I am allowing you guys to ask questions, and I'm going to answer them. And so hopefully we won't keep you up all night, right? Because bosses need a little bit of rest too at some point. So I'll definitely do that. I'll take them on the webinar, and I'll also take them on the phone, okay? And so we'll be able to work through that and get it done. So there's no pressure. Lay back, relax, just listen, take lots of notes, and let's get this thing going. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Most of you already know me. If you don't know who I am, I'm Tressa Azarel Smallwood. I'm a boss life. I literally, what I love to do is to grow businesses from ground up, see them to fruition, and literally make it happen, okay? And so a lot of times as I'm teaching different people, and I do a lot of one-on-one consults, and so people will say, can you do this as a group class? Like, I really need this to be a curriculum, a course. So what I decided to do was, I have an actual curriculum that I license to colleges, universities, etc. It's called Be the Boss curriculum, and it teaches people how to be their own boss. More importantly, I teach people that the average millionaire has 7 sources of income. And so in order to be successful and to be a millionaire, you too need 7 sources of income. And so I'm going to take you through a series of some of my businesses and how I use the 7 sources of income rule to be successful. And so anytime you have a question, if you type it now, that's fine. If not, just keep them and we'll get to them at the end. So I'm glad you guys are here. Get excited too. That's a main key for me. Get excited totally, okay? Because I'm literally going to teach you, how not to live average. All right, so here's the first thing. I started out literally as a school teacher. So average career, I went to college. I was like, look, I'm going to get a 9 to 5. Obviously teaching is a little different from a 9 to 5, but that was my career choice. So I spent all of this time going to school, and mind you, let me go back. I already had an undergraduate degree. I went back to school to get a master's in education. So obviously I was pretty content with what I was going to do. Love working with children. I thought this was definitely my career path. Along the way, I kept saying, I really want to start my own business. I really want to be my own boss. I really don't want to have to punch a clock. I want to be able to work when I want to work. I really want to be able to leave a legacy to my children. And so although I love teaching, there wasn't a legacy or a business that I could pass on to my children, okay? So basically what I decided to do was I said, all right, I'm gonna do this teaching thing. I had a lot of naysayers who were like, look, I know you wanna start a business, but this is the key. You need health insurance, you need a steady job, this dream of yours to start your own business, like that's gotta wait. So I listened to them for a while, and I call them the naysayers, the people who are in your ears telling you you can't do this. So, I started my teaching career. Literally, I think within like the 2nd year, I said, I'm going to start my own business. I just didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to start, how to begin. I didn't know who to turn to. So by the time I got to my 3rd year, basically I was pregnant with my daughter, put me on bed rest for 6 months. Okay. And so that felt like a literally a death sentence. So I go on bed rest for 6 months, but while I'm in my 2nd month on bed rest, a family member came over and we were just talking, I'm in the bed, feet kicked up. And she's like, you should write a book. So I'm thinking, write a book about what? So she's giving me all these ideas. She worked for a correctional institution at the time. And she's like, let's, write this story about what goes on at my correctional institution. So I did it. Okay. And so when I think back to how it all worked out, within like the first 2 weeks, I had my first draft. I let her see it. She was like, it's great. Of course, family and friends are going to tell you it's great, right? So I said, I need some real people who are going to be brutally honest with me to tell me if this thing is any good. Next thing you know, other people started reading it and they were like, this is really good. You should go all the way with it. So instantly my business sense kicked in. I started researching everything that I needed to know about publishing a book, how it was going to work, how to get distribution. And needless to say, the short version of this is I launched that book literally after I got off bed rest, had my daughter, had time to plan a marketing plan. And I printed 5,000 books and I sold those first 5,000 books within 2 months, made a profit of $40,000. Needless to say, I never went back to work. I knew this is my business. This is the business that I've been thinking about all along. I would just think, I never knew that it was going to be publishing, but I literally knew that it was going to be something that I wanted to do, something that I loved and that I could make a business out of, okay? So Life Changing Books is my first business. That one book turned into a multi-million-dollar company. You can Google Life Changing Books. The web address is lifechangingbooks.net. You'll see all of my authors. I have over 40 authors to date. I've published over 120 books, both in print and ebook format. And Life Changing Books has been very, very successful ever since. So super excited about that. So that's my first business. Also, as you hear me talk to you guys about having 7 businesses and 7 sources of income, don't get me wrong. There is not an issue with having these businesses, but there is an issue with being a jack of all trades and a master of none. You've got to master these businesses as you build them, okay? Create a team. So over at Life Changing Books, if you were to contact Life Changing Books, you wouldn't talk to me. There's several other people that you would talk to because the business is a real business. There are people in place. There's a team in place. And so because of that, I was able to move on to my next business that I started, which I absolutely love. And you guys, you know, in the chat room, if you've ever thought about starting a real estate business, just let me know. I'm actually over here looking at the chat room right now. If you ever thought about starting a real estate company, that's huge. That was my second business that I decided to start. I know a lot of people who were in the real estate, and I said, hey, this is kind of great if you can take a small amount of money, invest it now, and it's money that you're going to make from years to come. Because in a few minutes, you're going to hear me teach you guys about residual income. And so you'll kind of, once I teach you about that, you're going to revert back to the businesses that I have. And I'm only teaching you these up front so you'll know who I am. A lot of times when you learn from different people, you're going, okay, why should I learn from them? You know, like I would never go to a weight loss specialist and they're overweight. What's the point, right? They're not really listening to their own advice. So I think that when you learn from somebody, you need to know that they've been through it and they're able to teach you some of the things, some of the same processes that they've been through. And so me being a serial entrepreneur and being able to grow these businesses, I want to make sure that I'm able to communicate that to you and that you know who I am. So the real estate business, I'll give you the quick version of that. Basically, I decided, all right, I'm going to buy some properties. You do have to have some credit to do this, okay? So if you don't have good credit, start working to reform your credit. There are definitely ways to do that so that you'll be able to get into this type of business. But I decided that I was going to basically just renovate properties, and instead of flipping them and selling them, I was going to keep them as rental properties so that I can get paid for the rest of my life. Okay, you'll also notice that, thank you, David. He's like so excited, loving this. You gotta be able to make money while you sleep. Arnisha, how you doing, baby? So here's the deal. That's my second business. My third business, the Bestsellers Project. One of my authors, her name is Tiffany Montgomery. She came to me about 4 years ago and she says, hey, listen, you know, you're going around and you're teaching all about publishing and you're giving people all of this information, but you're traveling a lot. You have children, you have these other businesses, you're trying to do this movie, et cetera, et cetera. Let's do this thing over the phone and online. So I'm thinking, oh, that might be great. So we had to come up with a name, obviously, which is now the Bestsellers Project. If any of you guys have taken the Bestsellers Project, please type in the chat room so that I know you're there. If you're on the phone, don't worry, I'm going to get an opportunity to talk to you guys in a few minutes. But this project, again, that is a business that is simply about residual income, okay? We teach a service. We teach people what we know. I've been publishing for 15 years. I've taught people how to become bestsellers. I've published New York Times bestsellers. I've been very, very successful in this business. And so being in, you know, having those years of experience, having the success that I've had, obviously there are plenty of people who want to learn from me in terms of learning how to write books. That was an easy business to start up, okay? So the bestsellersproject.com, when you guys get a chance, you can just go there. You're gonna literally right now see an opt-in page because we're not teaching anything on the Bestsellers Project right now. But when it's back up, you'll see the full page where you can learn all about the class. We only teach that 4 times a year. So other than that, I freed up my time, all right? So then go on to my fourth business. My fourth business is that I created a program called the Be the Boss program. And that's what I was talking to you guys about a few minutes ago. This is why you're getting the benefit of hearing me talk about this. I worked with some grant writers and we decided to create a program that would teach people how to become their own bosses, okay? And so the program is literally like if you were going to college, there would be a facilitator's guide, there would be a participant's guide, there would be workbooks, homework books. It is the whole gamut of a real curriculum. And so I created that. This is for people who, one, if you're in college or you're taking this course at a university, etc., it's to teach you about entrepreneurship, to teach you about owning your own company. At the same time, you have people who will take this program who have said, hey, I want to retire soon and I'm thinking about an extra source of income. It could be people who just literally say, hey, you know what? I work a 9 to 5. I don't plan on quitting my job, but I just want some extra income. It could be somebody who says, you know what? I am unable to get a job right now. I don't want to sit at home and keep doing nothing. So I need quickly to find a way to make an extra income and make a living and start a business. So that's why it was actually created. It's probably a 300 and something page document that would take somebody 8 to 9 weeks to complete. That was my fourth business. I also got this idea. I said, you know what? I created this program. A lot of the people that I come in contact with, they're not going to be able to have access to it because they've got to go to these different places, these colleges, these universities, these nonprofit agencies to even be able to get access to it. And then it's going to cost them $700, $800 to even have access to it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start teaching this information online. So of course, here we are. Lastly, I'm going to stop with this. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my last business, and then we're going to go into some information that you're going to absolutely love that's going to relate to you. Enough about me, right? My fifth business, I own Megamind Studios, which is actually a movie company. I've now started to convert some of my books into script and being able to make movies out of them. This process is extremely, extremely long. My first film is actually going to start shooting November 2nd, and I've been working on it for 2 years. So pray for me, literally, everybody pray for me, because this is going to be major for me, okay? Out of all those businesses I just named, this is the one that is going to give me that residual income that I absolutely love, 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 okay? So I won't go on to all 7 businesses, but essentially in your notes, you should have, I need 7 sources of income and I need to start now, okay? If you don't even have 1, don't worry, I got you. If you only have 2, don't worry, I got you, okay? But that's the key, we gotta get it going. So let's go on to the next phase with brainstorming on businesses to jumpstart where you really wanna be in life. If you already have a business, I just need to know what kind of people I'm dealing with here on the webinar. If you're on the phone, don't worry. I'm going to get a chance to talk to you guys and find out exactly what's going on. But if you're on the webinar, I need you to tell us, like, you know, how many businesses do you have? Is this a new startup that you want to do? Are you in the brainstorming stage? You don't really know what you want to do. So I see David says, I want and need to do better. Chris says, so inspired. Hi, Chris. So I want to know what you guys need so that I can definitely help you. And Keisha, thank you for those prayers for the movie. You're in the literary world, so you already know I'm going to definitely need you to spread the word and help us get through this. So here's the key. What I want you guys to do is to start brainstorming on different types of businesses that you can get into. So you think about your passion. Think about what you're passionate about. Think about what you're good at, because that's the key. You gotta be passionate and you gotta be good at it. You can't come up with a business and say, hey, I wanna be a travel agent, but you don't even like to travel. That doesn't make any sense, right? So, you know, you can't say, hey, I wanna own a publishing company and you don't like to read, all right? So let's be real so that we're not wasting time, because if you're gonna get these 7 sources of income, you need to start doing it soon. So start brainstorming a list. As you brainstorm on that list, I'm getting ready to teach you something that Yolanda says, I'm an artist. I'm building a business currently, Amy. Wonderful. So everybody, if you're in the brainstorming stage, what I'm about to teach you is going to help you tremendously. So residual income. Let's talk about that first. As you brainstorm on the different types of businesses that you're passionate about and that you think your skill set is good, you know, will actually complement, I want you to think about the type of business it is and ask yourself, will it bring me residual income? That means, while I'm sleeping, can I make money? I'm going to give you an example, and I'm going to use some of my businesses again as an example. Life Changing Books is a publishing company, right? So I wrote a book 15 years ago, basically. And when I wrote that book, I had no idea what I was really doing for my legacy. Literally, every time somebody reads that book this year in 2015, I am getting paid for that. So if they go on Amazon and they buy that book, I'm getting paid for it. But I wrote the book 15 years ago. I haven't exerted any other energy. I haven't written the book over. I didn't do any other work to the book. So that is what's residual income. Anything that you can get paid off of for years and years to come, and you don't have to keep exerting any energy or any work. You don't have to keep putting work into it. So for example, I saw that there's a songwriter in the chat room tonight. If you write a song and let's say Rihanna or Beyonce, they buy that song from you, you're gonna get paid the rest of your life off of that song. Does that mean you have to rewrite the song? No. You've created something that you're gonna get paid off of for the rest of your life. So on your brainstorming list, I want you to list some things that you can create. Things that you can create. And I'll give you another example. When I just told you that I created a curriculum called Be the Boss, that people all over the world will end up utilizing. I don't have to be in front of them to teach it. Let's say I sell it to a nonprofit organization who wants to teach teenagers about entrepreneurship. Let's say I sell it to a nonprofit organization who wants to teach seniors who are looking for a second career about how to be an entrepreneur. I have a facilitator's guide and I've created a participant's guide. So I don't need to be in front of them. So while they have paid me for the program and I've licensed it to them, every time somebody opens those books, who gets paid? I do. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to keep brainstorming, okay? Charmaine says a women's empowerment group. I like that right there. Monica says, I want to monetize my travel. Ivanette says a fashion business. So here's the thing, Ivanette, I want to use yours, for example, a fashion business. Yes, if you create a brand for yourself and you're able to sell merchandise when you're not in front of it, that's great. That's where you want to be. If you create a fashion business and you only sell at events and that's where the most of your money comes from, then you have to rethink things, right? And you have to do something differently because you want to get paid while you're asleep. So write that in your notes. How can I get paid while I'm asleep? Okay. So that's the residual income, right? So before we go back to that, let's talk about linear income, which is the average type of income. The average person has linear income. That means that you only get paid when you put in work. So that means if you work for the federal government, you go to work every day. Obviously you get leave, whatever, but bottom line is you get paid because you're paid to be in that seat and you're paid to be in that building. And it's okay. If that's what you want, that's fine. Not a big deal. I have lots of family members who work for the federal government and they make some good money. But some of them have also said, hey, although I do that, I want something different for myself now. I want to add something to my income. Not that I'm going to leave my job at this point because I've been there long enough, but I want to add a business that I actually love, one that I am passionate about, one that makes me happy, one that keeps me up at night. That's how you'll know you're happy, okay? And so with that being said, if you have linear income, so again, if you're a nurse, you go to the hospital and you sign in, you go to the school, wherever it is, you're a teacher, what any of those types of careers where you are getting a check when you walk in the door, no matter what happens, even if you don't perform right, and you're getting that check, that is linear income, okay? That's the average type of income. But that also means that if you get sick, you use up your leave, the money stops, okay? So you need to be able to make sure that you're doing something a little bit different, all right? So also in my Be the Boss program, which I'm gonna talk to you about in a few minutes, I teach you a lot about leverage income. I teach you about some of the biggest obstacles for business owners when you're trying to get money and funding for your businesses. So I wanna talk about that for a second. And then the next thing I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my Be the Boss program. And then we're going to start taking questions. Okay. So by 9:30, we'll be on questions. All right. So, and write them down. If you have them down, I see a lot of them coming in the chat room, but you know, we're going to have to go back to those. Oh, Yolanda, I have to say this one though first. She says, I have a healing spa business. I'm a talk show host. Oh, I love it. And I'm a published author. So Yolanda, you already have 3 sources of income. Fantastic. See, that's what I'm talking about. Also, guys, it's really, really important for you to connect with other people who have that same mindset that you do. Because if you're around people who are not thinking like that, they're not going to have your wheels spinning. You're going to be thinking about, hey, how can I do this, this, and that? And they're going to be looking at you like you're crazy and asking you, what time does our favorite show come on? Okay, but the reality is those people on TV, whoever created those shows, they're getting the residual income off the shows, and we're sitting here flicking the channels and watching, right? All right, so let's get back to what I wanted to add to you to this that you guys didn't get the last time. And it's basically some of the obstacles that you face when it comes to financing your business. You got all these great ideas, right? So now it's time to figure out, how do I finance these ideas, right? The first thing is, if you're a homeowner out there, you can get a home equity loan, okay? Because you don't have to tell them what the loan is for, and you don't have to worry about filling out business loans reports and trying to figure out, how do I get approved? So if you're a homeowner, that would be my #1 thing that I would do, is get a home equity loan, all right? If you are not a homeowner, then we have to think about a couple of things. One, if you're gonna get a loan from a bank, a credit union, you need credit, right? And so I'm not really sure how your credit is out there, but the bottom line is, if you don't have good credit, you still, as a business owner, even if you're not going to get a loan right now, start working on rebuilding your credit now. You can contact the credit bureaus. There are a lot of different companies out there that will help you. Read up on it. Like, Google is your best friend, literally. Read up on it and find out what you can do, because you need to have credit, okay? So if you do have credit, you can go into a bank, you can go to your credit union, you can try to get some type of loan. Obviously, like a micro loan is actually better. With a micro loan, it's lower risk for them, lower risk from you, and you have a better opportunity of getting approved. Same thing with a business loan. The only problem with a business loan is sometimes they're going to ask you for a business plan. How many of you guys have a business plan out there? I just need to see who does. And if you do, here's the difference too. There are comprehensive business plans, and then there are basic business plans. In my Be the Boss program, I teach you how to do a basic business plan so that you're not fearful of it. You don't think that, hey, this can't be accomplished. It's really just like your roadmap to making sure that your business can, you know, be successful. It can start off successful, you can go into your launch successfully, and you can end successfully. All right, so that's that. The key is family and friends. Guys, hopefully you have been wonderful people, a wonderful person to your family and friends, because if they believe in you, they will finance you, okay? And I'm going to give you an example for my movie. I told you that this movie is costing a whole lot. It's not an average movie, and it's not a movie that, it's an independent movie, but it's not your average independent movie. So it is very, very costly. So although I knew that I was going to fund most of it myself, I've been saving for that. I could easily go to a bank. I went to family and friends, and I said, hey, listen, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build a film catalog, very similar to my publishing catalog, where I can get paid the rest of my life. My children can get paid the rest of their lives. Instantly, I had no problem with getting investors from family and friends because I had a plan. I had something to show them. I had it all mapped out, and they knew, wow, she is about her business, and this is going to really happen. So family and friends, make that an option for you to go and search out some type of funding. I also want you guys to visit the SBA administration, Small Business Administration. Google it. They have a lot of resources, just a wealth of information that you can pull from just to help you as a new business owner. If you're starting out, they can help you, okay? They can help you a whole lot. Also, I want to just give one warning, credit cards. If you plan on using credit cards to fund your business, you could get yourself into a lot of trouble because the interest rate on the credit card, depending on when you're able to pay that money back, will determine how long you'll be able to use that money off that card before having to pay it back. Okay, so be careful about that. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things now, and then we're going to go into question and answering. Okay, so the Be the Boss program, I want you guys to go there right now. It's BeTheBossToday.com. I'm like, wait a minute, what is it? And can somebody in the chat room, I see you guys, somebody in the chat room, please type that in. If you're on the phone, I want you to go to BeTheBossToday.com. And I'm going to go over everything with you really, really quickly so that you can see it. Give you a second to go there. Hey, my people on the phone. I see you guys. I'm going to be unmuting you shortly so that I can take your questions. And I see some new people have joined us. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so hoping that you guys are already on there right now. And I'm going to actually pull it up on my phone too so that you can see it for anybody who doesn't have access to the computer. All right, so this is my program, Be the Boss, okay? And so the key for Be the Boss is that basically this is a 3-week program, very short, very simplistic to help you literally get yourself back on track. So it doesn't matter if you're already a boss and you just aren't getting the sales that you want, or you want to make sure you get that second or third business going. It's fine. This is for you. If you're completely starting out, this is for you, okay? To be able to help you get on the right track, be able to give you the resources that you need to get going and not procrastinating. You notice that it says on there that this is a 90-day plan. This is not meant for you to say, hey, I'm going to start next week and then I'm going to think about it after Christmas and then I'm going to work on it a little bit more in March. This is for people who no longer want to procrastinate, okay? And so if you keep looking at the type of people and what this is for, it's literally for anybody who, even if you have a regular job and you want to keep it, it's fine. This is for you to have an extra source of income. This is for somebody who says, I don't want to work a 9-to-5 anymore. I'm ready to move on. It's for you too, okay? So you'll notice there it has all of that info. The important part is that on October 6th, which is this Tuesday, we're having a brainstorming session. It's a bonus session. And there are two options. There's either going to be a group session on that night, or there are individual times that you can speak to me and do your brainstorming session in 15-minute slots. This is for a select group of people. After tonight, that bonus will disappear. I offered it last week. I think I had about maybe 15 to 20 people who filled those slots. I'm offering it again tonight, and after that, it's gone. No more, it can't, because it's really time consuming for me to sit and talk to people, even though 15 minutes might not seem like a long time, but you get a lot of information in 15 minutes when it's just you. So that's going to go down on October 6th. You see that over there. And again, that's for a limited amount of time. If you keep going down, it tells you that our class starts October 15th. And again, if there's anybody who can't get on right now, no worries. When you get home, just go to BeTheBossToday.com. Okay. And so you'll see that our official class starts October 15th. Woo woo. Okay. And so when we do that, we're going to do it in 3 sessions. Sessions are going to be held on Thursdays. Don't worry if you can't attend live, because we'll send you out the replay. But the key is for you to get started and just don't procrastinate any longer, okay? So that is the deal. I'm not going to have you on there too long. When we finish with this call, guys, I hope that you all, I see a couple of people are already signing up, so you didn't even give me an opportunity to tell you what the deal is. But if you sign up by tomorrow night, you'll be able to get the bonus. If you don't sign up by tomorrow night, it's okay. You can still get in the class. You just can't be a part of the bonus because class starts October 15th. So I want to make sure all of those people who are working on your brainstorming, and I want to make sure you're thinking about funding and thinking of some things that you can do, and I can help you out personally. That goes down on October the 6th. You also notice there's a payment plan, okay? So if you want to get involved with that, you have to do it by tomorrow at midnight as well, because after that, we won't have any payment plans available. All right, so I want to go to webinar first. I'm going to take a couple of questions on here, and then I'll go to the phone lines. So let's see here. Let's see. I see a lot of comments, but don't necessarily see the questions. So I'm going to go to the phone lines for a second while the questions are coming up on the webinar. So let's see. All right, caller, are you there? Let's see, can't hear you. Let me try that one again. And guys, if you're on the phone, just press *2 to raise your hand so that I can actually see your questions. *2 to raise your hand if you're on the phone and you have a question. And that's actually anything that you need to get started. So I have a question here. When someone says, I'm trying to brainstorm on businesses that complement me, how is it that I can find the right business for me? So you really do have to start thinking about what you're good at. What is it that you're passionate about? Is it that you like to make clothes? Is it that you are thinking about some type of service-based business? Is it that you're not good with talking to people? So if you're not good with talking to people and you don't want to be on the front line, you need a business that is literally behind the scenes, right? What if you are good at graphics designs? What kind of business can you start if you're good with that? I mean, everybody literally needs some type of graphics. So I'm going to take this question here from Shamiko. How can I turn writing into residual income as I work on my first book? So Shamiko, that is an easy one right there, because books are going to be residual income regardless. Anything that you create, anything that you write, again, whether it's a song, whether it's a book, whether it's a curriculum, anything that you write that will live on forever, you're a creator and you register that with the copyright office and you're gonna get paid on that forever, okay? And so Shamiko, I'm not sure if you've ever taken the Bestsellers Project, but when we open that back up again, we only teach it 4 times a year. You definitely want to be involved in that. My phone lines, *2 to press your hand if you have a question. I see you over here. Let me know if you have any questions before we move forward. Any type of business question to get you going is fine with me. So I'm totally okay with it. Samantha says, I was on the website today. So Samantha, which website are you talking about? The Be the Boss Today website? So we'll see. All right. So the other thing is, I definitely need to know who is working now, who has a form of linear income, and what is it? Because we need to figure out how can you turn that linear income into residual income. Okay. The risk is too great. The holidays will be awkward if I go bust. Okay. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, no, that's cool. So let's see, who is it that has, I see a lot of my phone people. You guys should have more questions than this. *2 to raise your hand if you're on the phone and you have a question. I'll unmute you and you'll be able to talk. And let's see, I see another one here. All right, so somebody asked, hey, I'm really not sure about the credit process. What is it that you think that would be a good idea? So with the credit process, if you already know that you don't have good credit and you want to start working on starting your business, you've got to really put forth a plan to fix your credit, because normally any type of loan that you get, oh, hello. I heard somebody there. Is this Natalie?
Oh, yes, I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine, Natalie. You don't have to be sorry. I told you this is a very... No, this is a very low-key, just relaxing moment. What's your question, Natalie?
Hello.
Can you hear me, Natalie?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah, so I said no problem at all. Good evening to you.
I'm sorry. Good evening. Hope all is well with you and family and business.
Oh, it is. So Natalie, tell me what is it that you're doing with your businesses? Are you starting out new? Are you already a business owner?
Well, I am currently an independent contractor in a salon, so I am a hairstylist.
Okay.
I also do freelance work. But one of the things that I was looking to do to gain some residual income was having an e-commerce hair supply store, not like a hair care supply store, I should say, not like selling extensions, but retailing hair care products that I already use in my salon for my clients.
I like that a lot. So now you're going to do e-commerce where you can sell it to the rest of the world, right?
Right.
Absolutely. So here's the thing. For example, there is a company, and when you get a chance, just Google this. It's called lashmoi.com, LASHMOI.com. That is a company that is in the area of where I live. They do lashes, they do permanent makeup, but they have launched their e-commerce site. And so now people are able to buy like the strip lashes, the products. They sell a lot of things, everything makeup and beauty, because they wanted to make sure that they are able to also make money while they're asleep and not just wait for, people to come into the salon for services. So I think if you go on and look at that, that would give you a couple of ideas. I also want to put this out there. When you're a salon owner, there's so many different things that you can do so that when you're not at work, you're still able to make, other sources of income, but you can create other businesses around that. And so I'll give you an example. There's someone that I know who works in a salon. We were talking about ways that she can do different things to add to her business. She has now teamed up with some of the cancer institutes, and she makes wigs, I guess, from the extensions hair, the extensions. I know she tried to explain to me how she does it, but essentially she makes wigs. That way the cancer patients, when it's time, you're going through chemo, you lose your hair, you don't even have to worry about what to do, because now you know that she is the contact and you can get a wig and you don't have to feel self-conscious about losing your hair. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was informed that actually the health insurance
yes, they pay for it.
Right.
Yeah. So she got connected. So I mean, such a good thing. I just think that just starting to brainstorm on those kinds of things and getting with other people who think like you and who have that millionaire mindset, that's the key, because there's so many other things that you can do. You already have the business mindset because you already are an independent contractor in a salon. Now the key is, let's start thinking about different things that will add to what you currently have, because we got to get 7 sources of income, okay?
Right.
All right, all right. So if that's it for you, Natalie, I enjoyed talking with you.
Well, I have one other question.
Sure.
I am looking to draw up sponsorship letters, but I am really kind of at a loss as to what some key points are to include when you're writing a letter to look to get some sponsorships. So could you help with that?
Oh, sure. So here's the key. Most sponsors want to know how many people are going, to be, is it an event you're going to have, or what are they sponsoring?
So they're basically going to sponsor, at the end of the year, I am going to be on an expedition doing some print work for photo shoots. And so I wanted to see if some hair vendors would be able to sponsor not sponsor the trip, but sponsor the supplies for the trip. So if they could sponsor some hair extensions, some supplies in that sense.
So these would be supplies that they already have, and so they're just giving you the product at cost, and you want them to sponsor it.
Right.
Yeah. So most times with that, this is the key. You just want to put in the letter some of the key benefits that they will get. So for example, if their benefit is that they'll get social media exposure, if their benefit is that once they give you this product, how many people is the logo, etc. Is there ever a time where they're going to get a speaking opportunity? So start thinking about the benefits that they will get, and that's what you want to put in the letter. That's all they're concerned about. So for example, I am looking for sponsors to sponsor the premieres for my movie. Although the movie won't come out until next summer, we're already sending out the letters. And in those sponsorship letters, we're simply saying, this is what you're going to get. Your logo will be on the step and repeat. We're going to have approximately 700 people at every premiere. Obviously, when the movie comes out, your name will appear in the credits. So we're telling them exactly everything that they're going to get. And that's all we put in the letter. And obviously, it's some form of benefit for them, whether it's tax deductible on their end, or if it's just the exposure. Just start brainstorming on what are going to be the benefits. Think about everything that you're going to do, and all you got to do in a letter is list the benefits. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a good evening. So we're going to take hey Raven, we're going to take Kimberly next. Miss Green, you can put Kimberly up. And Nadia says, where do I start with writing a book? See, I have an online boutique and plan to open a storefront. Woo woo. Advertising my brand more. Yes. So here's the thing too, Nadia. I'm so glad that you said you're going to open a boutique in 2017, because here's the thing about opening boutiques. You definitely need to make sure that you are able to build the brand before you open your doors. My sister owns a boutique, and she literally still doesn't have a storefront. And she's very, very successful in what she does, because you have to do those reports. And when I say reports, meaning you have to do the projection reports. If you guys have never worked on a business plan before, I surely hope you have signed up for the Be the Boss program, because in that program, we're going to go over the business plan and everything you need to do step by step before you launch your business. And working on those projection reports is key, because that's what will determine if you actually open up a storefront. Somebody says, I've been trying to start my own line of t-shirts for some time. I have the equipment, but I'm stuck on the logo design. I also want to have the other revenue streams. So here's the thing, come from the same business. So Joy, I love the fact that you want all of the businesses to come from the same stream, because if you think about what I do, mostly everything is writing, whether it's life-changing books, whether it's the movies with the scripts, whether it's Be the Boss, everything is writing and being curriculum-based, all except the real estate, which is just something that I knew would be lucrative. So here's the deal, Joy. The key is you can have the best t-shirts in the world, right? You can have slogans that are fantastic. But the key is, if you have all those t-shirts and slogans, what is your plan to sell them? What is going to be your branding and marketing plan? And so I'll give you an example. And before I do that, again, on the phone lines, press *2 to raise your hand if you have a question, and Ms. Green will see it and patch you through in a second. I know we're going to have Kimberly coming through in just a second. So the key, Joy, is that, you know, even for me, right, I have this business where people know that I'm a serial entrepreneur. People know when you see my brand is this lady knows how to make money, period, okay? And so if I were not out there and people would not see me and know this about me, let's say that I was just in the house all the time and they had no idea. I was just sitting in my office behind the desk signing checks. People wouldn't know to come to me, right? And I wouldn't be able to offer these online services or these one-on-one consults, right? And so for you, even if, Kimberly, I'm coming, sweetie, even if you have this idea, the key is to start building that brand and get that business plan ready to go. That is the key. That's what I want you to work on, and start brainstorming on other ideas where you can sit and say, okay, what other businesses can come from this? Because it's a lot. Okay, it's definitely a lot. And because my sister is in that world, we brainstorm all the time about different things that she can do. Okay, so Kimberly, I'm on, honey. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
Thank you for being so patient. I'm doing it all tonight, Kimberly. I got the phone in my hand. I got you guys on the phone. People are on the webinar. So thanks for being patient.
No problem.
So what's your question?
I do want to start in real estate. Buy and hold and rent so that I can have residual income. My question is, when you started that, did you buy in your own name or did you create a business name and just bought and hold under your business name? How did you do that?
My first one, I did it under my name. Some people say, hey, that probably wasn't the best move. It has never affected me in a bad way, although people still say I should have done it the other way from the start. The reason why I did it that way is because I wanted to totally rely on my credit and not worry about business credit. You see what I'm saying? Because if you start a business and buy it in a business name, then they're like, okay, well, you're doing that. Let me see the business tax returns, right? So you can always start with it in your name at first. You know, and to me, I will also tell you this, Kimberly, my husband, family members, they were like, don't do that. You need to buy and flip because you'll get more money that way. And my thing was always, yeah, I could get a lot more money right now and just have cash in hand. But the key is I wanted residual income. I wanted to have money coming in when, you know, if I were no longer to work, or just, you know, when I'm 70 and 80, I want to be able to say, hey, somebody's sending me a check for $1,500 this month from this house. Somebody's sending me a check for $1,500 over here from this house. All of that money adds up. So when I think about all of these businesses, like I literally love the real estate. Also with the real estate, you can hire a project manager and they take care of it for you. My project manager takes 10% of my money every month, but I literally don't get any phone calls unless there's a problem and I have to approve something. So if he says, hey, the air conditioner went out and you need to pay, you know, $500 to get it fixed, then yeah, I need to talk to him. But other than that, send me my check and everybody have a great day. So I say, yes, do it. Okay.
Okay. Very good. I have one other question.
Sure.
I have several inventions that I've come up with.
Oh, I love that. That's what I'm talking about.
I've been researching under the PTA, you know, the patent and trade, just to see if I see anything in the market. Also, I've done research on the internet, but now I'm just at a standstill as to, okay, where do I go now? You know, so I hire a lawyer, have them do my patent, or do I?
Ooh, sorry.
Product and
yeah, so here's the thing with the patent and trade office, and this goes for the trademark office as well for everybody that's listening. Those are all different offices where you're going to have to stay on them and keep calling for guidance. I literally deal with the trademark office all the time, and I am calling like crazy. They will tell you one thing, one person will tell you one thing, you got to hang up and call somebody else. The copyright office for books is very easy, but for the patent office, you have to keep calling. And unfortunately, you might have to end up hiring a lawyer if you can't get where you need to be. Because here's the thing, any questions that you have, there's generally not just one answer. That's the problem with that. I've helped a couple of people who have basically tried to patent some vitamins. And we went through that whole process, and they did the packaging, and we were getting the runaround. And so, of course, I was helping them every step of the way. And we made it through, but we ended up having to call a lawyer. Then I know somebody that has had a little bit of an easier task with being able to get it done, where it was just like a one-shot deal. So it just depends on how complex the situation is and what type of patent it is. But hands down, when you think about brainstorming on your list of different businesses, that patent situation is key, because that will get you paid for life, okay? Totally, totally. And everybody else that's listening, definitely make sure that if you have anything that you can do like that, that would be key, okay? And I want to say thank you to, what is that, Kelly. Go back to the page, read all about BeTheBossToday.com. Would love to have you. Don't forget, we only have a certain amount of slots open for our brainstorming bonus session. I'm going to take just a few more questions, and then I'm going to let you guys get out of here, because we want to definitely be off by 10 o'clock. Let's see. Oh, Raven says, I took the class. Hey, Raven. I took the class with you and Tiffany. One question in particular I have is, how do you boost your social media, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, or how do I gain followers and increase my platform? So, Raven, here's the thing. This is really, really good right now with the new platform Periscope, okay? If you get on Periscope, and Tiffany is going to be so proud of me for saying this, because she used to pressure me like crazy to get on Periscope, and I just don't have a lot of extra time, right? So I kept saying, okay, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Every time I get on Periscope, Raven, to give information, people are like on there like crazy, and they're sharing the information, and they're like, you know, DMing me on Twitter, like, that was great, when are you gonna do another one? So if you literally start getting on Periscope and talking about the content from your book, that will automatically gain your you'll start to gain followers, okay? And I'm hoping that that at this point, because you've taken the Bestsellers Project, you are definitely working towards completing your book, because you know in the Bestsellers Project we have an 80% success rate. The 20% of the people who don't finish is because they don't want to do it. Bottom line, okay? Because procrastination can be crazy. Patrina says, is it difficult to copyright artwork, drawings, paintings? No, it's definitely not difficult at all. The Copyright Office, in my opinion, is the most reasonable and the easiest office to deal with. And the fees are very easy. If you're copywriting a regular book, a novel, nonfiction book, it's $39 for a TX form. Like, that's crucial. Like, get it done. Just send it in, get it done. So whatever it is that your goals and your dreams are at this point, I definitely want to just say this to you guys. There's no reason to keep procrastinating, no reason to keep waiting. You need to literally get with some people who are going to wrap their arms around you, whether it's a group of women, whether it's a mixed group of men and women, whatever it is, it's a millionaire mindset group, and get with them and start brainstorming on these ideas and getting in classes and getting involved with growing your business, okay? Because if you don't invest in yourself, who will, right? And so the key is 7 sources of income. If you know you don't have one, then I expect to see you on October the 6th. If you have even 2 right now, I expect to see you on October the 6th, okay? And so until then, I'm definitely going to keep hopping on Periscope. I see everybody saying, oh, love it, love it. And Robalyn, hi, I see you guys. So hopefully I have answered all of your questions. If there's anything that I did not answer, I'll be doing a couple of Periscopes tomorrow. And then, of course, on Tuesday, we'll be on our brainstorming session. And so I hope to see all of you guys there. In the meantime, make sure you are writing down your list, okay? Write down your list of possible businesses and start working on your action plan. Because by the time we meet together, we're going to start working on your business plan. We're going to jump right in, and we're going to set a target date, a launch date for your new business, okay? So thanks, guys. Have a good night, all right? Take care.